Hey, my name is Dennis, and I will be summarizing an article called The Effects of Acute Exercise on Craving, Mood, and Anxiety in Non-Treatment Seeking Adults with Alcohol Use Disorder. The purpose of this study was to examine the effects of short-term exercise on alcohol cravings, state of anxiety, and mood in physically inactive adults who weren't seeking any help for their use of alcohol. For the participants, there were a total of 140 adults. 70% of them were female. The participants' age varied from 21 to 75, but there was a mean average of 53. Participants were recruited between April of 2018 and August of 2019 via newspaper. These ads were distributed in Sweden. It wasn't here in the United States. All the participants were inactive, they were injury-free, and they weren't being treated for their alcohol use disorder. They were excluded if any of them were receiving treatment or if they were using any illicit drug. For the intervention, a 12-minute sub-maximal fitness test was performed on a cycle ergometer. So it's one of those bikes where you're just in place and you're just pedaling. They performed in a laboratory-like environment with ideal climate. Once the participants, they adjusted their bike to get to their comfort. They used Borg's rate of perceived exertion to measure perceived exertion, and it was a single item scale that ranges from 60 to 20. Pedaling frequency was 60 RPM throughout the whole test, and it gradually increased over once 4 minutes passed, it gradually increased a little bit, and the exercise only lasted about 12 minutes, and the test was only performed once. For the control group, this study was a single-arm study, so there wasn't a control group. For the outcomes, participants, their cycling effects were measured using RM ANOVA and dependent sample t-tests. In addition, there were three different measures that were, three different outcomes that were measured: alcohol craving, mood disturbance, and measurement of anxiety. For the alcohol cravings were assessed using the desire for alcohol questionnaire, and this was the Swedish version. Items were scored at a 7-point scale system. The higher the score, the greater the craving. For mood disturbance, it was measured using the 30-item profile of mood state questionnaire. It was a self-reported questionnaire that assessed the effects of exercise on mood, and it was also measured at a 6th dimension of mood on a 5-point Likert scale system. And the higher the score, the more negative the mood. And then the last one was the measurement of anxiety, and this was measured using a 20-item state subscale from the State Trait Anxiety Inventory. And the items were scored on a 4-point scale, Likert scale system, and higher scores indicated higher levels of anxiety. And these tests were reliable and valid. For the main findings, aerobic exercise reduced the mean average of alcohol cravings. So for the cravings pre, it was 20.9, and for post, it was 15.8. The mood state was pre 14.9 and post 7.8. And for anxiety, it was 44.8. And for post, it was 44.3. So for the mood, definitely saw the most fluctuation and in alcohol cravings. But for anxiety, there wasn't really a significant difference. But the article did conclude that short-term acute exercise actually did significantly reduce the cravings and this sad feeling, but unfortunately, it didn't really reduce that much anxiety. Some of the strengths were that the study was a large group, and they were able to classify uh, like mood, state of anxiety, and cravings. For the strengths, it was they used multiple assessments. Again, mood, state of anxiety, rate of perceived exertion, alcohol cravings. Some of the weaknesses were that the study was a single-arm study, and that the study was done on Sweden, which was a different country. I guess it would be have a little bit more strength if it was here done in the United States, if it was pertaining to us. But I mean, this study is still overall pretty valid, and that's it.